We've all seen them, the loud, entitled travelers who think the world revolves around them. But one airport employee had finally had enough when a male Karen tried to throw his weight around, demanding special treatment and belittling staff. What happened next was a masterclass in shutting down entitlement, and it left everyone at the terminal cheering. Host career ends over racist taxi request. After years of working as a news reporter for various regional channels, Sam Mason landed a role at BBC Radio Bristol in 2008. But just 2 months into the job, her career came crashing down, all because of one phone call. While off air, Mason called a local taxi company to arrange a ride for her teenage daughter. But instead of a simple booking, she made an outrageous request.
I know this sounds really racist, and I'm not being, please don't send anyone that might, do you know what I mean? An English person would be great, a female would be better.
When the operator pushed back, Mason doubled down, specifically asking not to be sent an Asian driver, adding that a guy with a turban might freak out her daughter. The dispatcher refused to entertain the request, frustrating Mason, who later called back to speak to the manager. But the damage was done. The call had been recorded and leaked to the press, sparking public outrage. The BBC swiftly fired Mason for her behavior. In a surprising twist, the operator who secretly recorded the call was also dismissed for illegally leaking the audio. Chaos in the cabin. As passengers boarded a flight from Dallas to LA, one man decided to upgrade himself by taking someone else's seat. Despite the rightful seat owner standing their ground, the man refused to move, declaring,
"That's my seat. You don't like it? I don't care, that's my seat."
Tensions escalated as a flight attendant attempted to resolve the issue, but the man remained defiant.
"Call the police on me! I call the police on you!"
He shouted repeatedly, growing more agitated as authorities were called. Other passengers grew restless, clearly fed up with his ranting. The situation reached a breaking point when the flight crew announced that everyone had to deplane. Groans of frustration echoed through the cabin as travelers grabbed their belongings, worried about missed connections. Meanwhile, the man continued his tirade. "Take me off this plane. Your ass is going to federal court." Eventually, authorities arrived, and the unrelenting man was removed in a wheelchair. Though the flight was delayed for 45 minutes, he was not arrested. One selfish move turned a routine boarding into a mid-air meltdown, proving that seat disputes can ground everyone when it comes to flying. The salesman's standoff. A door-to-door salesman finds himself in a tense standoff after one of his employees is accused of making an inappropriate comment to a homeowner's wife. The homeowner, standing his ground, states firmly, "My wife is inside and she's upset about what was said." The salesman remains unfazed. "Why don't you guys just hop in your van and head out?" "We're fine right here, thanks," the homeowner shoots back. Sensing the situation escalating, the salesman decides to address it head-on. "Look, we're just here to clear things up. One of my guys was heckled," he explains, unwilling to back down. The homeowner isn't buying it. "You've got a guy going door-to-door making disrespectful comments," he snaps. The salesman raises an eyebrow. "What exactly did he say?" The homeowner doesn't hesitate. "When my wife told him we already had a friend who does windows, he smirked and said, 'Oh yeah? Is he as good-looking as me? That's not okay.'" A smirk tugs at the salesman's lips. "You think that's funny?" the homeowner challenges. "Maybe," the salesman shrugs. "Sales is all about persuasion, getting people to like you." "That's not persuasion. That's being disrespectful," the homeowner counters. "You need to talk with your employees." The salesman crosses his arms. "I don't just talk about these lines, I create them. I teach them. I love them." The homeowner, growing more frustrated, demands accountability. "Let me see your credentials." "Why should I?" the salesman scoffs. "Because training matters," the homeowner fires back. The salesman lets out a chuckle. "Go ahead, call the cops. Tell them my guy asked if your window cleaner was as handsome as him. I bet they'll have a good laugh over their donuts." The homeowner's patience wears thin. "Get in your van and leave." "We're good right here, thanks," the salesman replies, his smirk unwavering. "My wife is upset," the homeowner reiterates. "That comment shook her up." "Shook up? Really?" The salesman scoffs. "I could go to any house in this neighborhood, say the same thing, and they'd laugh. That's the problem. You don't go door to door making comments like that to women," the homeowner snaps. The salesman grins, unfazed. "You want proof? Let's knock on a door right now, and I'll show you how it's done." He turns to a passerby. "Were you offended? Did I hurt your feelings?" he asks with mock innocence. "Nah, I was just joking," he adds, shaking his head. "I'm a door-to-door salesman, just a kid trying to make a living." With a final smirk, he dismisses the confrontation entirely. "Go home. Be mad at someone else trying to make an honest buck." Male Karen throws a fit over his own hotel booking mistake. This is the moment a classic male Karen loses his cool over a hotel booking blunder, one that he made himself. Frustrated and flustered, he demands, What do you expect us to do? The receptionist, maintaining her composure, responds. Still calm, the receptionist explains, I completely understand, sir. However, this is the reservation we received from Booking.com, and unfortunately, we are fully booked for the night. The man, now raising his voice, repeats, so what do you expect us to do? That's my question. The receptionist presents his options. We can either check you into the available room or cancel your reservation. His frustration boils over. Where else are we supposed to go? You're telling me to take it or leave it. Remaining professional, she replies, you can check in or you can contact Booking.com for assistance as they handled your reservation. Unwilling to accept reality, he pushes further. Who hasn't checked in yet? What other rooms do you have? All rooms are reserved, sir. I can't take a room from another guest. The man scoffs, still refusing to accept responsibility. So you expect 4 of us to sleep in that room? That's your solution? With the patience of a saint, the receptionist calmly responds, I'm not sure how you plan to arrange things, but this is the room you booked. At this point, another staff member steps in to defuse the situation, but the guest continues his rant. After several exhausting minutes, the receptionist makes the final call. We'll just go ahead and cancel your reservation. Realizing he's about to be stranded, panic sets in. Then what are we supposed to do? Unbothered, the receptionist delivers the final blow. There are plenty of hotels in the area. Maybe try another one? With one last dramatic sigh, the male Karen exits his tantrum, failing to secure him a better room, but certainly earning him a viral moment. Chaos at Miami International Airport. A wild scene unfolded at Miami International Airport as a combative and aggressive man created chaos on a Sunday night. Local 10 News later identified the individual as a military veteran. According to reports, he was denied boarding due to his aggressive behavior, which may have been fueled by intoxication. Multiple bystanders caught the incident on their phones, capturing a full minute of his outburst. But the story doesn't end there. Things only got more intense from that point on. Passenger refuses to leave over. Denied drink. A routine. American Airlines flight from St. Louis to Chicago turned into a spectacle when a passenger flat out refused to leave the plane simply because he was denied a pre-flight gin and tonic. The drama unfolded when a white male passenger didn't take too kindly to a flight attendant's refusal to serve him the drink he felt entitled to.
Get off the plane, man!
Ladies and gentlemen, we do not want to further delay for any altercations, so can we just get off the plane as soon as possible? No altercations, because then if something else happens, then nobody can.
When asked whether he did in fact exchange words with the flight attendant over the cocktail, well, the man seemed innocent enough.
With no other choice, police took a more hands-on approach, literally dragging him off the plane as he protested, losing a shoe in the process. Talk about a Cinderella moment. This bizarre incident is just one of many. In 2019, there were 146 reported FAA incidents involving unruly passengers. But after the pandemic, that number skyrocketed to nearly 1,100 in 2021 alone. No wonder airlines are pushing for Congress to crack down on disruptive passengers. But here's the real question. How would you react if a flight attendant denied you your pre-flight drink? Would you take the loss or take a stand? Male Karen. The man's hands trembled as he reached for his phone. His breath was uneven, his eyes darting around the crowded airport terminal. I'm calling 911, he said, his voice laced with panic.
I called them for you already. You don't have to call. And I'm Tisha, T-E-S-H-A.
What?
T-E-S-H-A.
What do you mean to?
You asked my name. It's Tisha, T-E-S-H-A.
I like your hair. I don't need your name.
You asked it.
Don't do that. They blocked my flies.
T-E-S-H-A, the other repeated patiently. The man tilted his head as if trying to focus, but then her attention shifted abruptly. I like your hair, he said with a fleeting smile. I don't need your name, but you asked for it, the other replied, confused. The man's expression flickered between frustration and fear. He shook her head. He said, no, don't do that. They blocked my flights. They blocked my FL. They blocked my F. His voice trailed off as if he had lost her own train of thought. He suddenly clutched her head. I don't know why. He turned sharply, her gaze locking onto the stranger again. What's your name? The stranger hesitated. You had to talk to my husband, the man insisted. Right now I need to go. I need to see my mom. Please ask him. A gentle but cautious response followed. He said she's not going to talk to anyone. Tears welled in the man's eyes. Could you please talk to my husband? His voice cracked. I'm kind. I'm a teacher. I'm a beautiful person. I'm happy to see my mom. I need to see my mom. The stranger's voice softened. I understand that, but you have very high I can judgment. His speech became erratic, words tumbling out in a frantic rhythm. Her expression hardened. And you know, it's jealousy. You're jealous. Then just as suddenly, she straightened up. His face changed as if slipping into a different persona. He tucked a strand of hair behind her ear and smiled. You know what? Yeah, wait, hold on. Get my good side. He turned slightly, tilting her chin, waiting for an imaginary camera. Laughter burst from her lips, sharp and misplaced. It echoed uncomfortably in the tense air. J. His voice was quieter now, distant, as though she were speaking to someone else entirely. Not human beings. Not human being. An airport announcement crackled over the intercom. Attention, rebooking is now available at gate D37. She looked up, her expression unreadable. Then, in a voice that was almost too steady, she said, I don't need your advice, okay? The moment hung in the air, heavy and unsettling. The world moved on around her, but she remained frozen in a reality of her own. Tape Karen. In 2021, a TikTok user shared a chilling story about a bizarre incident on her flight. She noticed the cabin crew whispering among themselves.
You, people. You are people.
Have a good one.
Thank you. I don't think so.
The truth? A woman had been forcibly restrained with duct tape after causing chaos mid-flight. According to American Airlines, she had attempted to open the boarding door and even attacked a crew member. The situation was so severe that, upon landing, she was immediately taken for medical evaluation. And just like that, the so-called male Karen got a first-class ticket to humility, no upgrades included. Sometimes all it takes is one fed-up employee to remind entitled people that the rules apply to everyone. So next time you see someone throwing a tantrum at the airport, just remember, patience is free, but karma always comes with a price.